The sport I play is volleyball.
The sport I play is football, basketball, and baseball.
So I play volleyball.
The sport I play is football.
I chose volleyball because it kind of reminded me of one of my favorite shows that I used to watch.
I chose football just to, well, I played in middle school and I just wanted to keep playing.
I chose volleyball because it's something I enjoy doing.
The reason why I chose the sport was to try something different and to get out of my comfort zone.
You procrastinate too much and tell yourself that you'll finish this in class or something.
Is when an assignment's due the next day and I have many more assignments, but I have practice to go to.
2 games per week, and I don't have great time management skills.
Right after practice is when I go see the tutors or when I have my own study hall in general, my own room.
No, not necessarily. Just probably from what my parents would tell me how to do a sport.
No.
I actually thought of it this year recently, just because of me being a senior and I have a lot of work.
Yes, when it can get too stressful, but I managed to have a good mentality and try to finish my schoolwork before anything else.
You have to either be on the time schedule and make sure you manage your time very well so that you could have time for yourself and also make time for your friends and family.
The pros are get to do more around the school. Like I said, make more friends. Yeah, those are pros. The cons, there's just you gotta start being disciplined about your time and you have to put school first.
Pros probably will be just playing in general. You get to do something you love, but cons is just being a student and then an athlete, and you lose a lot of probably your mental and physical health.
The pros of it is you have a lot more relationships with other people, and it's a really good experience to have in high school because you don't really get this in college. The cons can be missing schoolwork, like if you get out of class early to go in a away game, that's probably the cons where you miss schoolwork.
Yes, I would recommend.
I think I recommend it because it kind of makes the time go by faster and you just make new friends.
Yes, I would. It's just as long as you manage school at the same time.
It can help you mentally, physically, and it can keep you in shape and just keep you active. And if that's something that's pretty big.
So as a coach, I always require my girls to go see their teachers before they leave class on an away game. And so if they're missing any class, they're supposed to go to their teacher, get what assignments need to be turned in the next day. And then they, hopefully do that evening or the next day. But if that's a requirement, and coaches stay on them, I think, we have a pretty high rate of students who turn in their work after missing a game or after missing a class. But sometimes students, they know why they're at Navajo Prep. They know that they're here for academics first, so most of the times they won't need that reminder. There's a handful of students do. So I think we do have a good rate of students who turn in their work when they miss class.
So for the most part, I think they do a pretty good job. There are students that do miss 8th hour, which has been a little difficult for presentations when they have to do those in class, because I think the last 3 games for volleyball, a lot of girls in my 8th hour have missed their presentation time. But overall, I think their assignments have been turned in pretty well. But it's just when it's time to present or do a project, they're not there for that.
The difference between student athletes and non-student athletes in the classroom, we always, of course, encourage for them to participate. But I think just being an athlete kind of helps them a little bit more in the classroom, being that, you know, student athletes, they're practicing, they are kind of out in the public eye a lot, which means they perform against sometimes millions of people, like let's say at a state tournament or online. So they're kind of in that public eye, you know, and I think that does help a little bit more with them to be able to speak up in class or ask for help. But there are times where, you know, that doesn't always happen, you know. But I think that majority of the times being a student athlete does help in the classroom, being that one, they have to keep their grades up in order to participate in any extracurricular activity. And then 2, how we love athletes who are vocal on the court, on the field, or wherever it may be, that transitions a little bit into the classroom where they're able to be a little bit more vocal in the classroom.
Absolutely. I see a huge difference in athletes and then students that don't play sports with the sleep aspect. I think a lot of my students are tired when they come to class because either they got home really late from an away game. It does affect them when it comes to actually being present and being energized and being awake for a class.
Pros and cons about being a student athlete. I'll start with the cons. The cons are out of class. They're out of class a lot for games, and most of the time it's the same class. You know, being that games are usually scheduled on a Tuesday or Thursday. You know, a lot of our athletes are out of class those same days. So being out of class is one of them. 2, they don't have a lot of free time. You know, that a lot of our student athletes, they go they go to school, right? When school's done, they have a little bit of free time to go see teachers or whatever, and then they go to practice. And then here at Navajo Prep, it's a little bit more time consuming because our dinner closes at a certain time, so you have to make it to dinner before dinner ends. And then a lot of the times is in the evening that they have club meetings and other types of meetings that happen in the evening. So for a con, that would be, you know, just not a lot of free time for our student athletes. They're on a very tight schedule. But the pros is, with that, it comes time management. They have to be able to handle and manage their time. And being a student athlete, that helps a lot, you know, staying on a busy schedule. You know, if you're on a schedule, you're more likely not to deviate and do something that out of the ordinary, you know. So that's a con, that you have pretty good time management, and some students have a hard time figuring that out still. But the other one is, you know, sports can help in a lot of different ways in life, you know. It helps with one, controlling emotions, you know, how to handle failure, how to handle success. It helps with, again, just being in the public eye, you know, representing yourself, representing your school, representing your family. So there's a lot of pros along with being a student. You know, it gives you a student athlete. It gives you a time where, you know what, I have to do well in this class in order to participate. And sometimes that can be the motivation to do well in school.
So I was a student athlete from middle school all the way through college. So the one thing that I know that the benefit of being a student athlete, like a pro of it, is that you have something to work towards. So when you have to keep good grades and in order to play the sport, and if you love the sport, you're gonna do your work and you're gonna make sure that you get good grades. The cons of being, and also you stay healthy. So one of the pros is that you stay healthy throughout your, your adolescent years and into your young adult years. But I do think that one of the cons is not having enough time to do work and sleep deprivation.